Our first weekly update, January 5th, 2021. I am in good spirits and I am very optimistic of this year. That's why I'm starting the year off with a smile in every meeting that I've attended thus far. So, Andy, welcome back. Happy New Year, my friend.
Thank you, Mayor Rainey. It's great to be here, and there's a lot going on in the city of Peekskill.
Yeah, it absolutely is. That's why we can't talk too long today because we got a lot of work to get to. But I will start off by saying I was out at the library about a week ago exactly, as a matter of fact, giving out masks. I'm going to do the same thing sometime early next week, probably Tuesday, I want to say in the afternoon, or maybe Wednesday. I'm going to be right outside of the library with a small table with a box of masks that we're going to be giving away, no charge. The Peekskill masks, the blue masks, just to encourage people to wear these masks. So once I have an exact time, I'm going to promote it on our city website, on my social media, our city social media, and everywhere else. If you want a mask, come on down, grab one. If you have family that wants a mask, bring them as well. Of course, wear a mask to come get a mask, social distance, and we also have sanitizer that day as well.
Yeah, and on that message as well, Mayor, we still have several boxes of donated surgical masks. And for at one point, the NAACP was distributing them. I know they've been distributed through food distribution points. And if there's a group that feels like it could play a useful part in distributing some masks to its members or to members of the community who might need them, should contact City Hall about that.
Absolutely. And you mentioned something, I'm going to segue right into it. I'm going to go back to the COVID mask and everything else, but I'm segueing to consider that. Beginning next Friday, we will return doing the food distributions in the Peekskill Youth Borough parking lot along with Peekskill Youth Borough, West Cop and Feeding Westchester. We took a 2-week break, but beginning next Friday at 1 p.m., we'll be distributing food, seniors from 1 o'clock on, and then everyone else will go at 2 o'clock. If we can make it earlier, we will. So please come set yourself up early if you would like something to take home. But seniors are always served first. The purpose of this specific food drive was mainly when Seatown closed, but Feeding Westchester has been a great partner, and West Cop has been a great partner, and they're willing to continue this to serve this community for as long as we possibly can. And we've extended it from August to December to now even the month of January and possibly the month of February. The idea is to get through the winter and get these food distributions out, especially with this entire COVID-19 craziness that we've been seeing. So beginning next Friday at 1 p.m., Youth Borough parking lot, the city of Peekskill, West Cop, and Feeding Westchester and the Youth Borough will be back at it. So please come on out.
Yeah, and on that, Mayor, your leadership on that is appreciated, and it's always great. My window looks out over City Hall parking lot, and to see the spirit of the volunteers is really impressive. It's well run. Truck shows up, people assemble bags. It's a great operation, and it's one of several in the city. And everybody knows about Fred's Pantry, but also the Rotary has done great work on this. And there's a number of food distribution points in the city for folks facing food insecurity. Information about those is always available on the city website. We actually have a kind of a news and COVID items tab. People can find that. And if they have trouble, they're welcome to call my office.
Absolutely. So, and that being said, that is one of the things the city has been doing. We also want to remind people that last year, because of COVID, we didn't give out any permits for any type of events other than events such as food distributions. And even to this day, the only events that we get permits for are, for example, food distribution events or mobile testing sites are welcome to come to the city of Peekskill. We do encourage anyone that's going to be outside in the public to continue to wear your mask, continue to social distance, and importantly, continue to carry sanitizer with you. If you can, we have small bottles of sanitizer at almost every store in Peekskill. Make sure you grab you a small bottle of sanitizer. Keep your hands clean, especially if you're touching surfaces, you're riding the train, you're going to different restaurants, you're going to different businesses. It's important to keep your hands clean.
Yeah, just you mentioned events, Mayor. Just as a reminder, kind of how far we've come on this. You know, when we started last year, the first big cancellation was St. Patrick's Day Parade, and then that, of course, being in March, and it followed from there. And everybody, including the city and businesses and nonprofits and churches, and everybody had to kind of retool for COVID safety and follow guidance from the health department, the CDC. We were able to run some recreation programs at minimal levels and with all the COVID safe practices. And we were also able to work with folks over on Esther Street, the Bean Runner Cafe in particular, to have some very small outdoor music events on Esther Street when it was closed. So some things have happened there, but on the whole, we haven't been able to permit larger events, and that's been a disappointment to some folks. But I think really people have really understood it. We haven't really had that many requests because people understand that gathering together at this time and over the last year has been problematic from a public health perspective. We recently had a snowman building little event. Parks and Rec does put together things for kids periodically and families. And of course, they're all socially spaced and outdoors sometimes. And the indoor ones at the Kiley Center just at a dramatically reduced number of people. And the staff there make sure that everybody is in compliance with the health guidelines. And so that's the world we live in. If anybody who comes to City Hall will know that you have to use an intercom and go through a health check with a temperature check to get through the door. And we encourage people to continue to use remote, whether it's phone call or email. A lot of times people can get what they need without having to go through that doorway. But we are there. We actually have someone staffing the lobby
Absolutely.
to coordinate that. And our departments have been busy, super busy, throughout the year, taking care of all the different needs that people have. So just as a reminder that, just like businesses, City Hall itself has had to reorganize itself. One of the things that we have available from the Business Improvement District for any business that's trying to just continue to make a clear statement, with a poster in its window that masks are required. We have some beautiful posters that the Business Improvement District design put out, and we're happy to give those out to anybody with a window and doorway and where they need to be able to, set rules for people walking through the door. I've seen a lot of different kinds of signs, Mayor, just, people running a business, they write something with a magic marker and stick it in their window saying mask required. If you got one of those and you would prefer to have a colorful and nicely designed sign, you can drop by City Hall and or download it off the Business Improvement District's website. Either way is good.
Absolutely. And we're also going to be sharing a link that we got from the governor's office recently with different promotional material, different promotional images that you can share on your websites. We know it's important for you to put flyers up in your stores and in your businesses and your daycares and even even your homes. But you can also help share the message virtually, or should I say digitally, through social media, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, whatever you use with these links. But again, this stuff will also be on the city website and city social media page and the government channel. So I do want to share some good news too, since we're starting the new year off. If I can real fast, Andy.
Sure.
We got approved a couple of weeks ago for the Fleischman Pier grant of $2 million. And just last night, we spoke about preparing to put out bids for the reconstruction of Oakwood Drive. And I'm personally excited about that because when I first took office as mayor, or my second year of my first term as mayor, I was asked to speak at a college, and one of the students were in that classroom had asked when we were going to work on Oakwood Drive. And I explained the process to him, and I told him that it may take at least a year before we finalize that. And it was literally a year in a couple of months. So I was almost on point. But Oakwood Drive is now definitely going to be prioritized to be reconstructed. And we're just, the idea is to just keep the city of Peekskill streets clean and in an orderly fashion. So we're trying to if we could reconstruct every street in the city today, we certainly would. But Oakwood Drive definitely needs a little bit of 10-11.
Yeah, Oakwood in particular has sidewalk curbs that are crumbling. The sidewalk itself is made out of asphalt, on a proper pavement, and the storm drain system that runs, channeling the rainwater off is blown out in a number of places. So, and the new pavement and so on is going to be beautiful, obviously, for people who use that road. Largely paid for through grants. So we thank the federal and state government for that. But a significant amount of money coming in from the city, which also means some tax dollars in play. But these kinds of projects, they are costly. We'd love to be able to, repave every street in the city, but there's a schedule.
Certainly would.
and some of these larger projects that involve some underground pipes take a couple of years to develop.
Yeah,
to get the grants and to process the paperwork and to go out to bid and so on. So yeah, kudos to the city council for shepherding that along, and of course our staff over a number of years for getting
absolutely.
that one to the point where we should be having the bid in the spring and construction during the year.
Yep. And if anybody missed the New Year's Eve ball drop, we had a virtual New Year's Eve ball drop this year, which is on YouTube, social media, Facebook, and I believe our city website as well as the government channel. So if you missed it, you can still take a look at it on any one of those platforms.
Absolutely. I just want to say, well, you do have a couple people chiming in on Facebook right now, Mayor.
Okay.
Just so uh, good humor. Wanted to know if, along with the posters and the sanitation calendars, if there's pastries. Uh, we'd,
Yes,
we'd love to be able
actually,
to give out
for
food.
listen, tell them for a good price, go to Ty's Bread Basket Bakery right across the street from City Hall.
There's
Really
some
good price.
great pastries
Really good
around.
price.
City Hall is not trying to compete with local business. We know what our strong suit is, and it's not making pastries. So appreciate that. There's a question about bulk pickup. As I mentioned, the sanitation schedule is online, and
April
there's
is the first bulk pickup, I believe, correct? If I'm
I
correct.
have to double check it. There's
Okay, yeah, it's on the city website, but I believe April is the first bulk pickup.
it depends on which you
Oh,
know
that's right, which side of town?
so so check that schedule. Someone else, Miss Yolanda Scott, is just thanking Westchester Medical Center for their testing in the city. Just a
Yep.
reminder, it's at the library on Saturday. They usually get 6 to 10 people. You have to register ahead of time, so all the numbers and information is on the city website,
Yeah, this
and
Saturday from
that's
10
a
a.m.
good
to
thing.
3 p.m. They'll be testing right outside of the lot, right at the neighborhood center. So please and remind people, encourage people to get tested. The more we utilize them, the longer the possibility of them being here every weekend. So people that need to get tested, as you all know, Peekskill was in the yellow zone. We're in the yellow zone for pretty long
We're
time,
in the
about a
yellow
while.
zone, which sets certain restrictions on business capacity.
Yeah.
And of course our numbers have been coming up. Everybody knows that they're posted in the county actually finally created kind of a data dashboard, which we're
Hmm.
just echoing on our Facebook. But our numbers are up over, I think, over 300 active cases, which is defined as anybody who's tested positive in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So they become inactive after 2 weeks.
Yeah. And we can
Those numbers,
assume
those numbers are up. It's something everybody needs to be taken really seriously.
yeah. We
Everybody's
can assume we can assume it'll go higher. I know that we got a few calls on New Year's Eve for family gatherings that had to be shut down. So you know,
Yeah, it's just it's
some people will
not the
get it, some people
time
don't.
to get together with your friends and family. And that's the trouble. Like the state has told us over and over again that chiefly transmission is taking place among people who know each other in small social settings. And so in some ways, and of course the restaurants and other activities have been curtailed. So now the real area of spread is private spaces.
Mhm.
And we do as much messaging as we can on that. We hope people get the message, because every time you try to get into a business, you see their signs, but you really need to take that message home.
Right.
It's
Because
it's
I don't. I mean, when you say you have a pandemic, that means it's worldwide. So it's hard to believe that there are people that don't realize it or that don't know, whether we message every single day or not. People know what's going on. People just don't seem to take it seriously. And that's
Yeah,
the
there's
issue.
unfortunately, people can get a little lax or just have a
Hmm.
little bad luck on some day and get the bug. So encouraging everybody to stay on that. Um, I also just wanted to mention that the next public meeting of the Police Reform Task Force is coming up. The mayor sits as a co-chair of that, along with Antonio Knott. The committees have been working hard on their areas of research on policy. We've had police officers involved with all the committees. And the next public meeting is on January 21st. And it's a time when the task
Check it
force
right now.
really invites comments, questions, suggestions, and it also reports back to the community on which each committee is doing, aiming, of course, for meeting the state deadline of spring for presenting to the city council a report and talking a bit about what kinds of city council action might be appropriate in the coming year as far as accomplishing the goals of even further getting our local police department with best practices as far as community engagement, building
Hmm.
trust, and really addressing the historic issue of systemic racism in our society, and and doing all that we can to make sure that everybody in the city of Peekskill, you know, when they have a need for police services, whether it's medical aid or a crime has occurred or something else, that they know that they're going to get everything we can possibly give them in terms of public service.
Yeah, so we encourage everyone that's watching now to please share the information with your friends, family, and colleagues. You know, the more participation that we get from the community during these public forums, the better. We've had two so far. The last one we had a pretty decent turnout. You don't necessarily have to be at a public forum meeting to submit any ideas or recommendations. I know some people just don't like being on camera. Some people don't like being in the public eye. If you have any great ideas that you'd like to share with the task force, again, check the city website. There's an email address up there. You can just send it, send your recommendation, suggestion, or even question to the task force email. And any recommendations or suggestions will be sent to the committee focusing on that area. For example, if you had an idea on some type of equipment that you think the police department should have, that'll be transferred right over to the equipment subcommittee of the equipment education and training subcommittee of the task force. So the more people that are involved, the better. And again, you don't have to join the council meeting. You have to join the task force meeting to be involved. I know some people don't like being dragged out for hours, but you could submit something via email and we'll take a look at it, get it to the committee, and you know, it'll be definitely included in the conversation.
I just want to address a question coming up on Facebook right now. It has to do with the use of the city's Code Red system. And just so folks know, you know, Code Red is a service the city pays for. We actually also have it available in Spanish and other languages for translation. We encourage people to sign up for the Code Red service. And it encompasses two things. One is really urgent emergency messages. And we also use the service occasionally for like a health reminder. And over the New Year's, we had a message from the mayor with respect to masks and health and Happy New Year's. The community has generally wanted and expected more communication from City Hall as to what's going on, and people really look to City Hall, and we kind of want to make sure that the flow of information is what it needs to be. So we use Code Red for those purposes. So when you sign up for Code Red, just know that the outgoing calls or texts or emails, you know, you can sign up for it, and you can get information, whether it's about storms or something else, or even if we have a water main break or some other, you know, boil water mandate. You know, if there's a major, if there's a reason why a road is closed and stuff like that. So when you see the words Code Red, it doesn't mean, you know, you need to sort of go to your basement and hunker down. It just means that there's some information that could be useful to you.
Given out, yeah.
So that, and I was gonna say there's a variety of ways in which the city communicates, and one of them is these weekly updates with the mayor, which is great. The mayor's taking time for it, and we hope that it's useful. At the same time, we maintain a city website for really timely information. The Facebook page is the place to go, and when in doubt, just pick up the phone.
There you go. So we are definitely in trying times. We're doing trying to think outside of the box to make sure that we get the word out. So I just want to definitely thank the entire staff for getting us through that crazy year of 2020. The City of Peekskill staff, all of the businesses in the City of Peekskill, not just the ones in the downtown, but all of the businesses in the City of Peekskill that are working to be in compliance. Businesses all the way in the riverfront, Washington Street, Highland Avenue, Beach Shopping Center. There's so many businesses in different areas that are really trying to stay in compliance with the health guidelines. And I really appreciate you all and thank you all for your hard work. Even though it's been a challenging year, you've done the best you can. For the most part, many of them have done the best they can to keep the safety guidelines and protocol in place. So I really thank you all for all the work you're doing. And I will continue to try to patronize and support and encourage people to patronize and support those businesses who do stay in compliance with the health guidelines.
Now, it's obviously, you know, it takes a village to do almost anything, and the working together between the city employees and all the cooperation and support we get from the community is the only way we get through these things. So I like to remind people that you know the city has a little over 200 employees, but if you add up all the people who participate on boards and commissions, you're probably going to hit about that number as well.
Yeah.
The city organization is really kind of a hybrid between, paid staff and just a lot of citizen involvement,
Mhm.
whether it's a temporary committee like the police task force, or it's a land use board, parks activities. There's a million different things. And if you go to the city website, if you're interested in serving, in participating and being appointed to fill a vacancy on a board or commission, we encourage you to stay alert to that. We'll usually post the vacancies on Facebook. And that's how the partnership between the city organization and all the civic and business and community groups can really work.
Yep. So, last but not least on my end, Andy, I just want to make sure I put this out there. I know some people had mentioned that they couldn't navigate or they couldn't find it on the city website. I got a text earlier today. So, if you're looking to email me or contact me, it's Rainey at City of Peekskill, but Rainey is spelled Rainey. Somebody texted me yesterday saying that they were trying to email me and they couldn't. It wouldn't go through, but they were just spelling the last name incorrectly. So if you're looking to contact myself, Rainey is spelled with the E. So it's Rainey at cityofpeekskill.com. But also, if you check the city website, you click on boards, the council board, the information should be right there somewhere. But again, anyone trying to get in touch with me, my last name is spelled Rainey. Just want to make sure that people are aware of that. And other than that, Happy New Year.
Thank you, Mayor. I think we're wrapping up now. So appreciate it. Appreciate all the folks who tuned in, and onwards.
Yep. All right. Be safe out there, Andy. I'll see you in about an hour.
All right. Take it easy.
All right, man. Thanks
Bye-bye.
again.